So here you are, a guy that's literally been playing music longer than anything else that you've done in life. I mean, your life has pretty much been from the age of 9 to the tender age that you are now. You've been pretty much dedicated to playing music. And here, with all of the skill, all of the talent, all of the stage presence, everything that goes with that, and you know, we know that people look at musicians on stage and they would faint before they would ever think about going on stage and being a musician. I mean, that would just be the epitome of just, you know, fuel injecting this. But here you are with all of the talent and everything, and yet the one thing that was just stopping you dead in your tracks was a fear that you couldn't even see.
Exactly. But the other fears that were holding me back, or, you know, fears of success, was one of the ones that I identified. A fear of success, a fear of being happy. That was another thing I had to get past. I like to call fear false events appearing real, but they can be very real to you if you don't address them. Through this program, I've had a spiritual awakening of sorts with in regards to my business life. I feel like, you know, that anything's possible. The possibilities are infinite. And I remember you saying, you know, picture yourself standing in Carnegie Hall. Feel the floor, feel the room, you know, feel all that. And immediately I brought myself back to when I played football in high school. I was the smallest guy on the team, but I used to picture myself knocking, you know, hitting people really hard, and I would go into this meditation, and I'd fall asleep for 20, 30 minutes, and I would picture myself doing all these things on the football field. I'll be darned if they didn't come true. It's amazing how I never thought of using that in my business life. I'm sure I did it unconsciously, and I know that we create our own destiny, you know, but I feel like I have, after taking the course, I feel like I have a better awareness about that destiny and what do I really want? I guess is the question that I had to ask myself 9 months ago, a year ago.
And finally, you asked that question, and finally, you came up with an answer.
Oh yeah. And it was through the help of this outline, you know, this outline for success. That what do I really want? You know, I didn't know what I really wanted, and that's why I was floundering. I mean, you boiled it down to ask that question: what do you want? I remember asking my wife that a while back and kind of laughing about it. And she was kind of floundering around, and I said, what do you really want? Just write it down on a piece of paper. I saw it work for her, too. If it can work for me, it can work for anybody. And, you know, there's still times where, you know, you have to persevere, you have to be persistent, but yet you don't have to, like you taught me, you don't have to fight it, you know. Just let it flow.
Yeah,
and that's hard for me to do, though. It's not natural.
I think it's hard for a lot of people to do. Resistance comes very easy to us. Flow, we seem to have to work at, although that's the easier of the two places. But you know, just with working with people, that's always the big hang-up. And you know, when we were talking before, you were telling me that this excellent story that really demonstrates this when y'all went into the recording studio. I think one of the guys in your band really had reservations, you know, about what you were doing and how you were doing it and what you hoped to accomplish with that. And maybe for a while, I got the impression that he really didn't share your vision.
Yes. I guess through the years I've had ideas some good, some bad. I've brought the guys in the studio, and you know, they've fallen by the wayside, or we haven't finished them. And I think that one of my guys just thought that, you know, here's another one of Andy's big pipe dreams, you know. And we got in the studio, and I persisted despite some of the negative emotions I was feeling. And I decided that I was going to keep my eye on the prize, and eventually people would either buy in or they would move on and do something else. It's funny, as we were nearing the completion of the project, I saw one of the guys just kind of look at the whole situation, and I saw the light bulb go off like, wow, this is really happening. I'm on board. He hadn't written a song in years, and he's probably the best songwriter in the band, and he started writing again. You know, I think he saw a change in me. I think he saw a new belief in me. He saw a different kind of following through of things, and in his own mind, he just said, "Wow, this is going to work," you know. And so I think it's like the book says, and like you said, you know, you have to press on despite the negative emotions, the negative feedback that you may get. You just have to keep going back to that single idea. What am I going to do? What is it that I am shooting for, you know? What's my goal?
Yeah, your present results are not going to demonstrate your new ideal, because it always takes a while to put that energy into that new ideal, so those old beliefs sort of fall by the wayside. And I think a lot of times we become very impatient in that, because it does take persistence. And persistence is always an indication of how you're applying your will, where you're focusing. Because, look, the bottom line is this. We're only persistent by sheer force of will. There's nothing around us at that time that is really indicating that we're having this big, huge success. It's just not there yet. This is
right. A good point. Yes.
Yeah, this is the seed that we're planting right now, and you know, we may be the only people in the garden that actually have an image of what this plant is going to look like when it grows. So, you know, present results dictate just what this other guy was telling you. You know, we've tried it, we failed, we tried it, we failed.
Yes.
Here comes another failure. And that's what present results were saying. And yet you, on the other hand, persisted in only seeing the end, or as you say, only seeing the prize. And I think that's a good way to explain it. And in the end, without ever having to talk to him about, you know, the inside story about the law of attraction, without having to do any of that, without having to explain, you know, where you're coming from in your philosophy, where you're coming from in your thoughts, here's how you manifest, without going into any of that, you just became the change that you wanted him to experience. And that energy just, after a while, just absolutely went over.
Yeah, I think it's so important to demonstrate what you want to do instead of talk about it, you know. If you demonstrate something strong enough, people are going to see it. You won't have to tell them, you know. I think Emmett Fox, I got that from Emmett Fox. I wish I could have claimed that statement. But if you demonstrate something, you know, people will be attracted to it. And not by what you say, it's by what you do.